This NBA season has been full of shocking surprises that nobody saw coming, but the most surprising thing is somebody only getting suspended for 2 games for close hand punching somebody unprovoked. Psychos and sickos unite for a stay hot edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show, of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. It's Eric and Espo here with the Freckle Mama behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. We are still awaiting some returning friends in Stephen and Gil, who are home for the holidays. Gil will be back on Wednesday for the last game of the 2025 year for the Phoenix Suns. But first things first, tonight, Espo, the Suns take on the Wizards. Everybody, thanks for joining us early on a Monday. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member, become a diehard, and of course, remember, we'll be back for a post-game show as well. Espo, these 5 o'clock tips, they're messing me up, man.
Hey, man, you may have to stay hot. I'm always hot. Let's just remind people of that. No, I'm the same way. The holiday schedule and then the 5 p.m., I have no clue what day it is, no clue what time it is. I just know that the cameras are turning on and it's time to talk Suns basketball, and that's the only time that I know.
We got a lot to get into today. We've got a lot of players missing, some from injury, some from suspension. We've got a Suns player who was courtside last night in the Washington Wizards win, and I think we do need to just start really quickly on that, because the Freckled Mamba boots on the ground reporting was telling me that there were some Suns fans who were upset that Dylan Brooks was courtside watching Wizards Grizzlies last night, which I don't understand.
Yeah, if you're one of them, you probably should go get your priorities checked. I don't mind a guy, going and watching his opponent for the next night. It's actually kind of a mind screw, right? You're sitting there watching the team you're going to go up against, eating some popcorn. I think it's kind of getting in people's heads. But then it's his old team, and there's some guys he's still friends with on that team. I have no problem with him going out there. You go out and you support guys that you appreciate. Why wouldn't you go do that when you have the opportunity? It wasn't like he was like, you know what, I'm going to skip this team meeting to go watch this basketball game. No, he had a night to himself in Washington. He went and watched the basketball game.
And what would you rather him do? Just go out on the town? He's watching a team that he's about to play. To me, it kind of feels like a smart move to go watch that team. I would have liked it if the whole team kind of pulled up. Speaking of the whole team, we have a member of our team here, a member literally of the channel, Mugen, who says, I didn't get an MVP chant when I got gifted a sub.
MVP.
MVP. MVP. Thank you so much, Mugen.
I jumped the gun. So.
It's okay. You were excited. You were excited. If you want to be an MVP, just like Mugen, hit that join button, usually where the subscribe button is, but I know all of you have already hit the subscribe button. Let's get into tonight's game, not last night's game, even though the Wizards did pick up a win. Let's go ahead and look at the injury report, of course, brought to you by our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at thehusbandandwifelawteam.com. Long one for the Suns today. No Jalen Green. We knew that. He's going to be out for a couple more weeks. Grayson Allen missing his 7th straight game with right knee injury management. Feels like there's a little bit more of a conversation there we'll need to have. Ryan Dunn misses his 2nd straight game with right knee soreness. Jordan Goodwin's available with a jaw sprain. He'll continue to wear the mask. And Mark Williams, not injured, suspended for his fight with Jose Alvarado. 1 game without pay. That will be tonight's game. As far as the Wizards go, Keyshawn George out, Corey Kispert out, Chris Middleton out, and Cam Whitmore out as well. We got to welcome one more person to our MVP club, and then let's talk injuries, Espo. Ready?
MVP, MVP, MVP. Thank you, Gus.
Woo! Gus 210477. Thank you for being an MVP. You get access to exclusive emojis. You get access to exclusive content, a prepaid super chat if you are a member every single month. When you renew at the beginning of the month, boom. Prepaid super chat, so for $5 a month, it basically pays for itself. Speaking of paying, Mark Williams going to be losing $36,000 not playing tonight's game. How much is that going to hurt this team? I know the Wizards aren't good, but I think people need to respect the Wizards a little bit more than maybe they are right now.
I don't think it's going to hurt them as much as it could have if it were, say, that Cavs game, if it were, a team with better fortune. I know that the Wizards have won 4 of 6. I know they won yesterday. I understand they're better than their 7-23 record, at least recently. But I think if there were a game that you were ever going to be able to survive without Mark Williams, it's probably this one. I mean, Sarr is very good, playing very well this year, but he doesn't worry me like some of the other bigs in terms of your ability to guard him. And I actually hope maybe we get to see some come on Malawatch tonight simply because they're without Mark. I don't think we will.
Best I can do is 18 minutes for Nick Richards.
No, thank God.
Yeah, that's the best I could do.
And 30 for Oso.
Yeah,
sign me up.
I do think we're gonna get a lot of Oso minutes tonight. This is an interesting Wizards team. Like you mentioned, they look 7-23 on the season. Okay, let's get one thing straight. Not a good team. The Wizards are not a good team, but recently they have been playing a lot better. They put up 138 points. They couldn't miss against the Raptors. And then last night, the Wizards are on the second end of a back-to-back tonight, but they beat the Grizzlies 116-112. Their defense was playing really great. Alex Sarr, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 6 blocks. Marvin Bagley III, obviously we all know what draft he was drafted in, but he's been playing pretty decent this season as well. There are worse games to miss Mark Williams for, and the Suns should still beat the Wizards tonight, but the Wizards themselves present a unique challenge because their best player is a big man, and a really tall one at that. I would say if we're talking about what matchups does Oso play well in, I don't know if tonight is one of those matchups. Now, another thing that's been going really well for the Wizards is their shooting. Trey Johnson, who was a top 10 pick for them this year, he's been shooting really well recently, was pulling up from the logo last game against the Grizzlies. Maybe that can play a little bit into Oso's strengths playing out on the perimeter. But Alex Sarr is somebody who, at least on the defensive end, he's going to shut down a lot of what the Suns are going to be trying to do in the paint tonight.
Well, I mean, it's simple tonight. You have to hit your threes. It's that simple because you don't have your down low presence in Mark. So it's going to become imperative, and your ability to get to the rim on drives is going to be obviously lessened due to Sarr's ability to block shots and how good he is at that. So you're going to have to hit from deep tonight, and it comes down to that and how well you do that. If you shoot 20% like you did the other night, guess what? You just got upset by the Washington Wizards.
Well, yeah, and Kara says it in the chat. Like, this is a classic trap game for the Suns. Again, the Suns have now won 3 in a row. If they win tonight, they match the Clippers for the longest active win streak in the NBA at 4 straight wins. They'll be 6 games above 500, which would be awesome, with a chance to be 7 games above 500 going into the new year. You just took care of business in some really chippy games on the road against the Pelicans. You were at a height emotionally against them, and now you're going in, and yeah, of course, you're playing a team that is one of the worst teams in the NBA. But they're a team that they don't play defense, but they score a lot on offense, and you're missing a couple of guys on your team that play really great defense and can score a lot of points. Let's talk about Ryan Dunn before we talk about Grayson Allen, because Grayson Allen in its own right is a little bit concerning. This still makes sense for me. Ryan Dunn not playing tonight, his second straight missed game with right knee soreness after he exited the first Pelicans game after Colin Gillespie fell into his leg. You would have liked to have his perimeter defense, especially with some of the shooting, especially like CJ McCollum, my favorite player in the association, playing for the Wizards tonight. Trey Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly is an athletic forward that also Ryan Dunn could have guarded. But you do have the Rasheer Fleming part of it all that makes me almost get a little excited for this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Rashir getting additional minutes. And yeah, I hope they make sure that Ryan Dunn's 125% healthy when he comes back. So we get a little bit more Rashir and hopefully he earns his spot in the rotation. And yeah, hyperextended knee, that's sore for a little while. I understand you're probably a little stiff, you're a little tight. I wanted to go back to one thing real quick, though. You called this a potential trap game. I think if you hadn't lost Mark Williams, it was a potential trap game. But I think Mark getting suspended may have woke them up a little bit, knowing that, hey, let's take it up a notch tonight because Mark's not out there. And I think that may add a heightened sense of let's not get upset because the league screwed us by suspending our starting center.
Yeah, well, I also think with this team specifically, and one of the reasons why we love this team and why we think Jordan Ott should be a candidate for Coach of the Year, if not the winner of Coach of the Year, part of the reason that we've really enjoyed watching them play basketball is because this season, they have taken care of business against worse teams. Now, sometimes it's closer than you expect. I mean, the Pelicans, not a great team. That first win against them only by 7 points. The next night, it's 9 points. But when they take care of teams earlier in the season, when people were saying, oh, this team is a fraud, they beat the Pacers. That was the Grayson Allen game. They beat them by almost 40 points. They beat the Mavericks on the road. The Pelicans at home as well. Or the Pelicans game was the one that Grayson went crazy at. The Pacers one was when he originally got his contusion. When they took care of the Clippers in a back-to-back scenario there as well. This is a team that beats the bad teams. They beat the Trailblazers. They beat the Kings. We like that they can take care of business. And this is the first time that they're playing a bad Eastern Conference team since the Pacers. And that's really the only other time that they've done it. You don't get many of games like you have tonight, and I think this team understands the opportunity. Plus, they'll still have a chip on their shoulder because nobody still believes in them to actually be a true threat and contender in the West. They can go to 5 games above 500, but they'll have to do it without Grayson Allen. And there's a lot of conversation in the chat about Grayson now missing his 7th straight game, I believe his 15th game this season. 7th game with right knee injury management.
Which is weird because we never heard about the right knee injury.
Right. I think there was some comments from Jordan Ott that made it seem like it was some excess swelling from the contusion that he had on his quad that remained around his knee. Clearly, he didn't look right when he came back from the quad contusion, even when you gave him a little bit of time to play. Where are you on the worry scale? 1 to 10 on Grayson Allen now missing 7 games in a row with a right knee injury management designation.
I try to stop guessing, especially with this franchise and the way they designate the injuries and everything. I'll worry when the Suns start losing. If the Suns start losing and you don't have Grayson and we haven't heard any kind of realistic timetable, then I'll start worrying. But right now, until we hear something where they're like, you know what, we'll reevaluate him in 4 weeks, that's when you get concerned. But I'm not concerned right now, especially because, as you've brought up multiple times, they have the deepest guard rotation in the NBA. So you're not feeling it too much at the moment.
I'm in kind of 2 schools of thought, and I agree with you. Deepest guard rotation in the NBA. We're big fans of Jamari Bouye here. That's my GOAT. Obviously, big fans of Colin Gillespie. Devin Booker continues to be one of the better guards in the NBA. You do have options. That's not why I'm worried. I'm not worried because I don't think they can take care of business against, the Pelicans or against the Lakers or against the Wizards, all on the same level, by the way, of teams, those 3 teams. I'm worried because I think this is an actual injury. Because you don't miss 7 games for injury management. We cover the NBA. We've watched a lot of NBA basketball. When you miss games to injury management, it kind of like pops up here and there. You might miss 7 out of 12 or 7 out of 15 games and don't play back-to-backs, or okay, they're good tonight, but tonight the knee's kind of flaring up. You miss 7 consecutive games. The last time that he played was when the Suns played the Thunder and lost by 50. That was a long time ago. That was pre-little concussion break for me. That was the beginning of this month. He's almost missed an entire month of basketball for right knee injury management. It feels like there is something going on, and clearly they're not avoiding the rules because you can get in a lot of trouble for that. But what injury are you managing when we've never heard the actual injury?
I know that there were some things last year where they would have Grayson sit, and they were claiming it was some kind of previous, injury that he was sitting for, and it wasn't like that year. It was something that's been bothering him. I want to say it was knee. I don't remember. Forgive me for not remembering exactly. So I don't know if this is some kind of chronic thing that's bothered him and swelling flares up, and maybe that's more what it is, or if this is some kind of new thing popping up. But you need, to Jacob's point, you need Grayson, I'd say, or Greenback sooner rather than later. You can't keep going without both of them for an extended period of time, much longer than you're at, because then you might wind up running into some issues. Because as much as we want to think the schedule eases up in January, it really doesn't. You got 2 against the Knicks. You got OKC
Houston.
back in. There's Houston.
The Kings.
Cleveland isn't a pushover, even though they haven't played great this year. They're still a good team. They're still all the pieces except Jordan Ott that won as many games as they did last year. So it's not a complete cupcake January.
Well, and you want to see this team fully healthy. You're leading up to the trade deadline. Grayson Allen might be a piece that you're dangling at the deadline. His value is significantly lower than what it was at the beginning of the season, where he nearly became untradeable. The last time he played was December 10th, so 19 days feels like a little bit longer, but 19 days, and he wasn't even a questionable designation. The highest he got was doubtful a couple of games ago. Now he just continues to only be out. We'll see what happens on Wednesday. Another theory could be it's the Wizards. Do you push it against the Wizards? I'm not sure. The same thing with Ryan Dunn. Maybe if this was a bigger game later in the season, maybe Ryan Dunn plays. But at the end of the day, you should be able to take care of business tonight. Espo, we'll get to your keys in a second, but first, let's talk about how important of a game this is. Our Suns must win meter as they take on the Washington Wizards. 9.6, which is awesome. 2 frozen out still, but you and I, Espo, both going 10. Ayrton, a measly 9. Why is it a 10 for you? I know why it's a 10 for me.
It's the Wizards.
Yeah.
You can't lose to the Wizards. This is, again, teams that are not very good that you have to stack wins against, because this is your opportunity to keep ballooning how many games you are above 500. So when you play, the Houstons or OKC again, you could be all right with a loss if it happens, because you've built yourself a cushion. You can't lose to teams you should beat.
Yeah. You don't get a lot of these games. Somebody mentioned it. This is the only second game they've played against an Eastern Conference team this year.
Yep.
I mean, granted, it's been 2 good Eastern Conference teams to play. The first road team, Pacers, were at home. Now, granted, if you're going to play 2 Eastern Conference teams, be happy it's those 2, right? But you don't get to play a lot of these bottom-of-the-barrel teams in the Western Conference, right? Even the teams that are lower, like the Clippers are currently on a 4-game winning streak. The Jazz have beaten the Spurs recently. Like, the Jazz are actually playing really well. They beat the Pistons, too. You play these quote-unquote bottom-of-the-barrel teams in the West, and they're still dangerous. This is one of the quote-unquote easiest games that you should have all season. It doesn't mean that it's impossible for you to lose. So, Espo, what do the Suns need to do tonight in order to pick up a victory?
Well, look, my keys to the game are quite simple, and I'll remember them when they're put on the screen. Don't get punched in the mouth. That's number 1. Prove Noah right. We know he hates Alex Sarr, so you got to prove that Alex Sarr is not the man that everybody thinks he is in year 2. And then key 3, remember, they're the Wizards. Don't overlook an opponent, and remember, you shouldn't play with your food when it's the Washington Wizards.
Well, and see, my initial problem when I read these keys was remember they were the Wizards. I'd almost rather they forget that they're the Wizards and imagine that they're like the Pistons or the Celtics or the Pelicans again, because they hate the Pelicans, just so that they can continue to be locked in. But again, I'm not worried about them remaining locked in, because how does Washington win this game? Washington wins this game by hitting a ton of threes. Now, your perimeter defense takes a punch with Dillon Brooks, but you're still going to have, or with Ryan Dunn out, but you're still going to have Dillon Brooks a punch.
Don't take it. No taking punches tonight.
But you're still going to have Dillon Brooks who's going to go out there and he's going to set the tone. Colin Gillespie's going to set the tone. Jordan Goodwin is going to set the tone. Jamari Bouye is going to continue to set the tone as well. I think that the perimeter defense, as long as you close out and you don't allow Washington to get hot, their defense, while sometimes can be good when it's clicking, allows big runs. Memphis last night went on like an 11-0 run, even though they weren't able to pick up a win in that game. This can be something that avalanches and that builds up on either way. Play really solid defense. That's where I think tonight starts. Oso, this is a big, big night for Oso. Alex Sarr is a really good center, maybe a bad matchup for him. We're going to need him to play 30 minutes. I'd like to see Kaman. Hopefully it's in some non-meaningful minutes so that he cannot feel pressure, but we might need him. I have no faith in Nick Richards. I don't really care at this point anymore. He's going to set an illegal screen, grab 3 rebounds, and commit a couple of fouls.
Probably throw the ball away once.
And he might do, whether he plays 30 seconds or like 15 minutes, he does the same thing. But it's a big game for Oso tonight and a big game for the defense as a whole. If they take care of business on that end, they can get away with maybe being a little bit sloppier on offense.
Just I don't think you can afford to turn over the ball against a young, hungry team like Washington. It's when you make mistakes, self-inflicted wounds in that way, that you let a team like Washington stick around. I think you are right. You have to play aggressive on defense like you have. You're one of the better teams at generating steals and turnovers this year, so continue to force that issue, but you can't continue to turn over the ball at the rate that they have, and in particular, like they did against New Orleans, because then it just negates anything you've done on the defensive end, forcing steals. So play solid defense. Don't do stupid things on offense. You should be all right tonight.
And maybe this is a Devin Booker game, right? This is, again, the same thing with the Pelicans, that in the first game we saw it, the second game not as much. Book can just take over, and that's enough to win you a game, especially against teams like this. If Book goes out there, has 35, 8, and 5, there's a really good chance that the Suns win this game, especially because he always makes other players better when he is firing at his peak. Colin Gillespie, kind of the same way as well. We saw Colin hit 5 threes and a half against New Orleans, hit a clutch shot in the first game against them as well. If he goes out there and he's generating a lot of offense, making plays, rebounding the ball, that's going to free up Devin Booker. Him and Oso have a really good two-man game. I really do think that if the Suns can just lock down the perimeter, don't let Trey Johnson get going from deep, and then hit a couple threes in their own right, I don't see them struggling tonight. I really just don't. But I don't know. Let me knock on something.
I mean, I think you can't forget C.J. McCollum out there.
Oh, I wish I could.
Because, I mean, he had 10 threes, a franchise tying record already this season.
He scored a lot of points, yeah.
So, I mean, as much as he's past his expiration date in a lot of ways, he still can make you pay if you leave him too open from deep. So you got to look at him and, like you said, Trey, and try to take care of that. And then, like I said, you got to shoot well, because you're not going to get it around the rim tonight. Although I do still think Rasheer catches a body tonight.
Well, I hope so. I hope Rasheer also doesn't get called for a BS foul. When Alex Sarr is on the court, you're not going to be able to get it easy in the paint. When he's off the court, you can attack Marvin Bagley a little bit. He's not a terrible defender, but you can attack him a lot more than you can attack Alex Sarr. Bilal Coulibaly is a really, really active, spry, young forward as well. I'm a big fan of his game. I know he hasn't maybe taken the step that Wizards fans would have hoped from him. He's also dealt with some injuries, but he's the type of guy that could give the Suns problems, because, the Suns are the type of team that's going to outwork you, right? They're going to out-hustle you. One thing I've seen from the Wizards in the last couple of games that they've won is that they have been working hard. They've been connected. They've been hustling, and they are young and athletic, and they might be on the second night of a back-to-back, but they've got young enough legs for that really not to matter, and they're in a groove. So that can help them. So I think that this is a good test for the Suns tonight. They seem to play all these bad teams when they're playing well. They play the Pacers right after the Pacers handed the Warriors one of their only losses of the season. They play the Pelicans after the Pelicans had won 5 out of their last 6. They play the Wizards, who are on a 2-game win streak, which is definitely a win streak for them, considering they only have 7 on the season.
And 4 out of their last 6 as well. So.
It's a really good test for them, and against some good opponents too. Like Memphis is no pushover. The Suns have lost to Memphis this year. Toronto is a pretty decent team out in the Eastern Conference, now all on their home court as well, which is helpful. But I think the Suns are still looking to prove a point tonight.
They need to. Every night they should be looking to prove a point because they're not good enough to not be trying to do that every night.
Round things out with a super chat and then our bets here. AIA Edits with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. So good to see you in here. Says, I just watched the vid about Mark. Great job, Espo. Assuming that's Southwest bias from this morning.
Yep, went all in on the suspension and Jose Alvarado's punk ass. So go check it out. It's right here on the channel.
I had people in my comments saying that Jose Alvarado would beat me up, and I just had to chuckle. I just had to laugh.
Jose Alvarado would have been pummeled to death if Mark Williams was actually fighting him.
Yeah. Buddha says, when are we going to start playing Eastern Conference teams?
They played 12 straight in January.
Yeah. Also, tonight. With the Wizards. Also, really sorry to hear the news about your job, Buddha. Hope everything goes well with you. Hopefully we can give you a little bit of an escape here. If you need something to laugh at, let's go ahead and get into our bets. Sorry, my bets if you want to laugh at them. Presented by Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365. Deposit 10, place a bet for 5. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, total, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Let's just flash the standings up. Okay, now let's go ahead and just take those down.
And let's flash them up.
No, and then let's just go ahead and take those down. I will say somebody's getting dangerously close to zero again. Five losses in a row, Espo, and you're back in neutral.
Okay.
I got to hold on to something.
Yeah. I can't hear you. You're so far down there. You're 177.75 below me. I'm good there.
Hey, yeah, minus 127.75. Look. 59 steps back, 1 step forward tonight for me. Let's see what I'm losing my money on tonight. I feel okay about this bet, honestly. I'm taking Wizards to not score 110 points. Now, their offense has been good as of late, but I think the Suns defensively will lock in tonight. And I'm taking the Suns to score 110 points. Basically, in my mind, a boosted way to take the money line, which was super minus odds. That in its own right was a plus odds. On top of that, I know it's a big Oso night. I'm going to get connected. Over 10.5 assists and rebounds, all that parlayed together. At a modest plus 325.
That's a lot of work for plus 3.
It's not a lot. It's actually not.
You're going to $32.50.
I need something. These big swings aren't working. I just need to get a little momentum into the new year. That's all that I need.
By the way, Ricardo, Eric could pretty much pummel anybody's ass. He's a black belt. So, and
double digit.
I'm not just saying that just to be humorous. It's the truth. So
I will say this: when this whole NBA thing dries up for Jose Alvarado in like the next year or two, and he resorts to like being on like Jake Paul's YouTube channel or like a Twitch stream with a questionable streamer just to try to like stay relevant, I'll take the fight. I'll fight you, Jose Alvarado. If that is what we need to get to, then I'm more than happy to do that. Kempo karate, Aaron. Karate. Yeah. Anyways, what are you putting your money on?
Oh, not on you to win the fight, but Colin Gillespie.
Yeah, you should.
15 plus points. Devin Booker 40 plus points for a plus 1,300.
That's a lot of work. For a lot of money. For a lot of money.
And it ain't my work, it's Devin Booker's work.
That's
tonight,
fair. I could see it happening as well. Freckled Mamba, what are you putting your money on tonight?
I got a little bit of a longer parlay than you guys. Dylan Brooks, he was scouting out the competition. I think he's going to have a good night, scoring 20-plus points. Jordan Goodwin's going to bounce back, get 1.5 stocks. Oso Ighodaro is going to connect everybody tonight, getting over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Then I had to throw on the Suns' money line just to boost my odds a little bit, up to 470.
You say mine's a lot of work for nothing. Yeah, but that's a lot of work.
He got even more. I mean,
he got like a
$32. He's getting $47. Right?
Yeah, I'm with Ricardo. I think Book's gonna be sitting a lot of time here. I don't know. Although he could still drop 40
we said that about the Pelicans games too.
That's fair. That is fair. This team loves close games. We got Gil mailing it in on vacation. Another Suns money line for Gil. A minus 450 on this money line. I think you get like $2. If you hit this.
I think we should actually take $45 away from him.
Yeah, we should. The future becomes the present, says Eric should break bricks for every Suns win. I can break bricks with my hand. So I haven't in a really long time.
He's gonna make a really bad fascinations joke, but we're gonna leave it be. It's 4:55 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm washed. I think I could still do it, but I think it would hurt my hand. I've been retired for 9 years now almost.
Use the left hand.
7 years.
That's the stronger one.
No, it's the right hand that's stronger. Thank you very much. Let's get to our line presented by Bet365. We saw money line for Gil. That's actually gone down to a minus 500, minus 10.5 on the spread for the Suns, plus 375 on the money line for the Wizards, plus 10.5 on the spread. But what do we think actually happens tonight? Our score predictions. Espo, you're going 120 to 109. I'm going 125, 105. We're both feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean, we both did for those Pelicans games too, and they were a little closer than we would have liked, especially down the stretch. But I think tonight is one where they don't play with their food. So
yeah, I'll tell you what. If we had 50 members in our post game, I'll break bricks. Not tonight, but I'll get bricks and I'll break them on air. If we had 50 members in our post game tonight, some housekeeping before we get out of here.
I'm not going to make the jokes. I'm going to leave it be.
If
friendly.
Before we get out of here, a couple of housekeeping notes. One, January 5th, we will be doing a watch party at Gila River Resorts and Casinos as the Suns take on Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. Our first watch party in 2026. The Suns should hopefully still be multiple games over 500 at that point. Should be a really fun time. Go to gophnx.com/events to RSVP for free. That's a 6 o'clock tip-off, 5:30 pregame. We'll be there even before that. We'll hang out, watch the game together, then we'll have a post-game show live. You buying drinks again for everybody?
Sure, why not?
Hell yeah. Espo's buying drinks. Come hang out with us for our watch party on January 5th. Also, brand new hats. I'm rocking one. Espo's rocking one. Can we get the dueling one-shots here really quick? I know we're running a little late on time, but look at this. Nice little PHNX Suns specific hat. I mean, which is beautiful. Look, I'm wearing Suns gear and it matches an Espo with that nice branded Bills white and black hat. I got to get my hands on that one as well. But yeah, these are sexy. You can go to our locker, gophnx.com, hit the locker, get some new merch as you go into the new year. Yeah, that's right, Sean. Steven's drinking a quadruple whiskey neat on January 5th.
You buy it for him, he'll drink it.
Will you have the hats at the watch party? No, you buy them online, Aaron, unless there's something I don't know about.
You buy them online.
You buy them online, Aaron. Let's get out of here. Go ahead and follow the show at PHNX_Suns for live, up-to-date reactions, fun memes, and everything in between during the game, plus injury reports, news, everything in between outside of the game as well. That's on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Ayrton behind the Mac at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Espo at Espo. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. And I hope all of you follow back to us tonight for the post-game show, and we'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.